This is Boxing Tickets NI. We are here at Anderson Boxing and delighted to join once again. I'm going to be nice to you. I know you've obviously slated me the last couple of days. I guess football related talk. You're a Cliftonville man. I'm unfortunately at the moment a Korean fan, but delighted to join once again with Owen O'Neill. I guess going straight into it, sort of 2022 probably. Best year. Obviously your life's a pro, picking up the Celtic Super Welterweight title. Probably maybe fair to say 2023 is probably, well, 2023 was probably your worst year as a pro so far.
Worst year as a pro, probably worst year of my life. Yeah, just tough. You know what I mean?
I guess we've obviously spoken in the past. Obviously when you lost your granddad, and obviously I think we spoke a few times before. Obviously before your granddad passed away and obviously after she passed away last year, but unfortunately we're all going to go through these obviously experiences in life, and probably I guess I'm in a good scenario where obviously I've been through it myself, and I've lost grandparents, I've lost my own mother and stuff as well, so I can understand a lot of probably what you've been going through, but I guess probably the best place to start is, I guess we spoke when obviously the fight was made, and you were sort of looking at the fight with Deco, even knowing that what your granny was going through, and obviously watching her slowly pass. You're obviously maybe using it as motivation, but I guess when you probably maybe look back now, maybe you maybe thought you could maybe get through it motivation wise, but probably it turned out the opposite for you.
Yeah, well, obviously the fight got announced just before my nanny died. But even I fought in July, I think that was my last fight, and my nanny was, my nanny only got cancer in March, and then she was still working, she was still driving about, and then one day she woke up with a clot, and then ever since that day, her life completely changed. She was bedbound, and then that's when all the suffering started. But even in July, looking back to July, sure, it was a terrible performance. The journeyman I fought came out the first round, boxed ahead of me. I probably shouldn't have fought then, but I knew I had stuff in the pipeline, so but obviously the Deco fight got announced just before my nanny died, and then my nanny passed away. But I didn't think it would have had such an as mad as it sounds. I thought I could have used it as motivation, to train harder and stuff like that. Where that's what I done with my granddad, but it was the complete opposite. I think it's because what I went through with my nanny, with my granddad. As sad as it is, he died, but my nanny suffered for months, and the last couple of weeks of her living, it was a living nightmare. Just looking back, I think about it every night. So looking back, I should have been man enough to say I need to postpone the fight, but thinking you don't want to let people down, you don't want to let Mark down, because I knew it was a big, massive fight. Irish title, Jesus, something I would dream of to fight for. And I should have been man enough to say, listen, I'm not ready. Piled on loads of weight. And obviously, I didn't think the impact that my nanny down would have had on me. And it was a million times worse than I thought it was going to be. But then again, I ended up letting everyone down anyway by missing weight. In the end, I sold 150 tickets. The place was empty, no one went. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of people, my mates, my family and all, that were all there for me. Says, don't worry about it, we know what you've been through, but still this day, I've let people down who spent their hard-earned money to come support me. The biggest fight of my career, Irish title, was on TV, 150 tickets, and couldn't make weight, but I tried my best. I think I ended up losing under 7 weeks. I lost 16 kilos. In under 7 weeks, and it was just looking back, it was just a terrible time in my life. And like I said, I should have been man enough to say, listen, I need to postpone this. I can't do it. But I thought, I don't want to let anyone down. And I sure ended up letting everyone down anyway by missing weight. But at the end of the day, I think it's actually a blessing in disguise what's happened, because now obviously I have a new team and all around me. But that was a wake up call for myself. The stuff I got on social media over missing weight and stuff, it was my fault, but I mean, it was a wake up call I needed too, you know what I mean? As mad as it sounded, it was the worst time in my life. I wish it didn't happen, but now now that I have what going for me and doing things right again, like I think it could have been a blessing, you know what I mean? Because I didn't get beat. I'm still 12-0. And obviously when people get beat, they make big massive changes where I haven't got beat yet. Obviously it feels like it's fake, to be honest with you. But I think it's a blessing.
Is it more like I guess you didn't want to pull out of the fight because obviously you were using it as motivation. So is it more like a pride thing? I guess, you know, we're seeing so much nowadays, and not to say obviously there's mental health and things like that, but obviously when people suffer with mental health problems, they bottle up and won't let people know. Were you sort of using it? You were using obviously the fight as your getting back to a good place, you know, obviously from what you were been through and grief and everything else. Were you using the fight so you wanted to give yourself every opportunity to try and make it? Was it more a pride thing? You didn't want to pull out of the fight?
Yeah, it probably was, but like it's just like before my nanny died, I told her I was going to win the title for her. It was probably the worst thing I could have done, because after obviously I missed weight, like I couldn't go up to the grave because it says I wanted to bring the title up. I didn't go up to the grave since the funeral, and it was a big thing for me to even go up without that, because I told her I was going to win it and bring it up, and it took me a couple of weeks to just go ways up yourself, get up. But like I didn't expect it to have such an impact on me. Like my nanny brought me up. I lived with her, my nanny and granda. Like, I've lost to both of them within 2.5 years. But it's flipping, like, just looking back, it was just a terrible time, and it's having your biggest fight of your career against geraghty, big name, class boxer. It was all wrong. It was just, I should have just said I'm not ready at that stage. You know what I mean? Like the day after the funeral, I remember getting on the scales and just going, what the hell am I going to do here? You know what I mean? And I didn't have the balls to say it's too heavy. I just thought, no, I'll just use it as motivation, because I told my nanny I was going to win the belt for her. Told Mark, don't get me wrong, Mark busted my balls. Like I lied to him, you know what I mean? I said, wait, I'm good, it's good, it's coming off. And that's just, you know what I mean? Looking back, it's obviously the wrong thing to do, but it's a huge lesson learned, you know what I mean?
It's experience in life, isn't it? Obviously, you know, like, don't get me wrong, we all think we're doing the very best that we can sometimes, but sometimes you need something like that to happen, you know, like, say you haven't got beat, you know, we're always going to touch on it in a wee minute or two, but obviously you change teams, you've completely changed everything since, and it's probably reinvigorated, you know, and probably made you better than you were before. And probably just before we sort of go past this, obviously I know you got a lot of slate and stuff online, but probably the best sort of example of obviously what happened with that was obviously, you know, and I've said this to you, you know, away from as well, you showed the exact person that you were, that you still come down to the weigh-in. They apologised to Deco, and the response that Deco gave you, and even online, you know, afterwards.
He was backing me up.
That was probably the perfect example, and I think Deco's been there as well. He obviously lost his brother and things like that, so he knows what death and grief and things like that can do. So
I can remember that, like I just knew, obviously I got that stage where I'm not going to do this. Like I was in the sauna for maybe over an hour, in and out, fucking really bad. Just looking back, geez, a terrible time. Like, but I remember ringing Mark, and Mark obviously giving off to me big time. I remember that Latimer fight. Latimer didn't turn up the weigh-in. Like that was my chance on ESPN. I got a slot on ESPN, and just Latimer didn't turn up. And I just remember going like, I'm gonna have to go up here. Like all my mates didn't have a clue. My family was there. My uncles, my auntie from Ballycastle, my granda. They drove from Ballycastle down. Like no one knew. It was only me. You know, like me and Mark knew at this stage. And I walked in and just, it was just a terrible day. Probably the worst. Obviously my nanny on this day, but like Jesus, one of the worst days of my life. Walking in there and obviously telling people I didn't make the weight, and then obviously I still get called up on the stage. Like people, the many messages I got from people who are well known in boxing says to me, like, why did you even turn up to the weigh-in? And I said, because I wanted to give Deco the respect. Or like, you made it, you can't need it made already, you get called up on stage. Still had to get on the scales, like, but I wanted to show Deco the respect, you know what I mean? Because I had it done on me with Latimer, and that was gutting for me because it was on ESPN and stuff like that. So I'm not a bad person, like, so that's why I wanted to show that. Oh, listen, mate, I'm sorry. Like, I'm as gutted as you are, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it was a big moment for you, obviously, as well as Dick.
I took a lot of balls, mates, for me to do that. Like, I remember walking into the open, and I just, oh, fuck, never a feeling like I want to feel again. Like,
It's a saying I said to you, obviously, straight afterwards, you know, don't listen to everything online. You know, people, you know, we see it day in, day out. Obviously, people miss weight, you know, and they get ridiculed and everything else, but they don't know the story behind it all. You know, and people can be very quickly judged sometimes, but I thought that was the best example of it, that if your opponent can't get mad at you, then
I couldn't believe it. Like, Daryl was backing me up. Like, it's flipping, just shows you, like, he's a great guy. Like, you know what I mean? He had, if anyone was going to stop her about me, he should have. You know what I mean? And he didn't. He was backing me up because I think he knew. You know what I mean? Like, and he messaged me when my nanny died, actually, as well. I think I said that anyway. Like, fair play to him, you know what I mean? He's a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for him, you know what I mean?
Obviously, since then, you've completely changed everything. Obviously, you've a new manager now in Padraig McCrory. You're back. You've linked up again with Dan Anderson. You know, it's in boxing. Dan was involved at the very start of your career.
Yeah.
I can always remember the Paddy Gal sparring. Remember the Paddy Gal sparring thing where Paddy standing in the middle of the ring with the arms together.
That was all right.
But obviously, that was before you even made your pro debut.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously the changes that since happened is this to try and probably, I'm not sort of trying to get into obviously nitty gritty of obviously, you know, anything that may have happened obviously afterwards, but like this whole new setup for you now, is this like a whole new lease of life, you know, is this getting you back to basics? Like Paddy knows who you are, he sort of came as a similar path, Dan's known you since day dot, so is this getting you back to obviously the very best Owen O'Neill that we can get?
Yeah, well, I think this next fight there, you'll see the best version of myself. Obviously, big Paddy's, obviously he's my manager now, but first of all, he's a friend, and after all that scenario, like, I've been missing weight now, Paddy called over to my house, picked me up, and I went over to the fights and watched Conor, because Conor's obviously a good friend of mine, you know what I mean, but Paddy came over and goes, right, come on, you're coming with me over to the fights, where I didn't want to leave the house, and I didn't leave the house for about a week. Looking back, my head was up my hole, but anyway, and then Dan obviously started back with Dan. Dan's been flipping amazing. First of all, before he's a coach, he's been there for me. He was another one that's called over the house when I didn't want to leave the house and making sure it was all right. So now Dan rings me every morning, 7:30 in the morning, except the weekends, to make sure I'm up getting the steps in and stuff. So yeah, obviously I started my career with Dan, my amateur. When I boxed with the Doctors, that's when I first met Dan, and ever since then we've had a great relationship. Obviously it faded there for a while, but now it's back. He phones me 24/7, you know what I mean? It's brilliant. It's brilliant, but I was missing that, you know what I mean? But like, even there, he went to Spain last week, and me and TJ Gallagher, my amateur, we had everything lined up on the board there, like what the sessions were. There was no mess about what sprints I had to do, like after every, like, making sure I done it, you know what I mean? And I think that's what I was missing there for a while. Someone to bust my balls, you know what I mean?
Is that accountability as well? Obviously,
yeah,
he's making sure he's sort of being like a father figure sort of to you in a way, but
a big brother, like I'm an only child, obviously. He'd be like a big older brother to me, you know what I mean? That's the way we were always slag, you know what I mean? That's the way it is. He weighs me every Saturday, no matter what. Every Saturday morning I have to come over here. He weighed no matter what. So that's obviously a massive thing for me, because I've always struggled with my weight, and Dan knows that. So, but I'm just loving it now. So
is it sort of in some ways, because I know obviously Dan said that obviously you're maybe going to be involved in other corners when obviously you're not fighting.
Yeah, when I'm retired, maybe. Yeah.
Is it more of an education for you at the same time? So is it nearly as if like Dan's training you to become sort of like a PT? Do you know the way someone trains you to do the job?
I do.
Is that what he's sort of doing? So he's sort of making you. He's obviously showing you what it takes to obviously to get yourself back to where you should be. You know, obviously checking your weight,
people's weight, Saturdays,
giving you lesson plans and things like that. He's sort of trying to train you.
I suppose you could look at it like that, like but obviously he wants me to succeed. Like, Dan wants it. Fucking, if not as much as me, you know what I mean. The guy, you know what I mean. He's brilliant. He's a great coach too. Like obviously, when I got my amateur career, like I started doing S&C and all the time, and that's when I got that KO and then fought Dom and fought Dom McDonald in the Ulster final. Like that was me sort of taking off. And Dom was in my corner then, you know what I mean. So it's good to go back to where it all started too, you know what I mean. And I'm just loving the training at the minute. Like he's busting my balls like big time. Yeah, so as I say, like it's as if he wants it as much as me, you know what I mean. I'd say he probably does, you know what I mean.
You're obviously, you're not the only one obviously here in the stable now in Amsterdam boxing. Obviously Conor Kerr, who obviously fights this Saturday night. You've obviously Caitlin Phelan as well, who obviously is a WBC youth champion, obviously returning after I think 3 years. You've fought in the card and stuff before as well. And then you've obviously the amateur in the gym, obviously TJ here as well. So like you're obviously coming in there really hungry, really thirsty sort of gym. Obviously that environment these are sort of building here as well just seems to be very, I guess obviously probably what you were similar to with D, obviously the fact that everybody's close knit, they obviously want to help each other.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, I train with TJ every day. Obviously Conor works, so trains later than the day. So I don't really train much with Conor, but obviously we're still taught like mad. But Katie comes up too, drives up from Kildare, you know what I mean? We're all hungry. And we all want to win, we all want to be successful. Like Katie's won whatever titles and stuff, and then Conor was a cracking amateur. TJ Gallagher, he's only 19th. The kid's amazing. Sparred me a couple of times. He's just awkward, and he's a great kid. And so it's as if I'm like the older. Even I think me and Conor's the same age, like, but I'm 12 and 0. I think Conor, what is Conor? 4 and 0. So I feel like I'm like the older one of the group. You know what I mean? And trying to keep up with all them. You know what I mean? We're all fit as hell, and I'm just trying to keep up with them as well. You know what I mean?
Obviously, just coming away from yourself for a moment, obviously your manager, Paddy McCrory, is obviously I guess the sort of pinnacle of obviously Irish boxing at the moment, obviously in 10 days' time in Orlando, Florida, headlining at his own card all around the world against Edgar Berlanga. First of all, are you going over to it?
No, flip.
Happy days, so I'm not the only one that's in the bad list then.
Obviously, I went to Germany before the Duffy fight. Obviously, Germany's only 3 hours away or something, 2 hours away, so it's just obviously got this fight with Dom, so that's all my life is about at the minute, fighting Dom.
It's, I know Conor Quinn's going over, and obviously it's his birthday the other day, and I said to him, did Jessica obviously buy him the flights and things? He's like, of course you did, obviously we know what Conor's like. Do you sort of miss that sort of banner you have with Conor in the gym? Obviously, everybody will know as well as I do from the interviews we've done, you slated each other. I guess he's still speaking, so it's not like you've left D's stable and you don't speak to anybody anymore, you're all still friends.
Still mates,
but you miss that sort of, been in the gym environment with Conor, because he's very like chalk and cheese.
He's a very good friend of mine. Still talk every day, still on the phone every day. He phoned me here before the interview. I talk to Conor every day. I learned a lot off Conor, you know what I mean? He's fantastic, you know what I mean? He's obviously fighting here in Saturday, and I think he's get the win no matter what, and then he'll push on them something massive. But I do miss it, you know what I mean? I don't miss buying the coffees. He helped me skint, you know what I mean?
So you're saving yourself money now?
Saving myself a fortune, you know what I mean? But no, I do miss it, you know what I mean? Well, obviously, me and Conor obviously drove to training every day, picked each other up and stuff like that. But we still meet him every other day for a coffee too, you know what I mean?
Do you still buying them?
Still buying them, you know what I mean? He's come to go to my Starbucks now in North Belfast. I have to let him in, you know what I mean? But no, me and Conor are still very close, you know what I mean? So
obviously on Paddy, I guess we're the ones that's closest to him sometimes, so we can't see anything obviously other than a Paddy victory. But it's no easy feat. I guess he's coming in as the underdog, and probably rightly in the sort of an opponent's country and things like that. But like Paddy's been an inspiration obviously for anybody sort of as an Irish boxing, but obviously to see your own manager going there on the biggest stage, you probably can't get any more excited than you probably can be, and he obviously can do the job. Like we've both seen it with our own eyes, the power he has in both hands.
Yeah, like I think Berlanga was putting mad videos up had a pad on a headlock, and it was Paddy's head. Like I think he doesn't know what he's in for. Like big Paddy's some hitter, like you know what I mean. So once Paddy connects to his chin, he'll know all about it. You know what I mean. And if anyone's going to cause an upset, it's Paddy. You know what I mean?
It's like not even Paddy, obviously, even with D, obviously, and I know that you're obviously still friendly with D, even though you're not training with him anymore. But D's obviously coaching style and skills and stuff, like it's second to none. Like he still religiously watches fights, you know, and learning and adapting. So like there's no doubt in my mind that D's got a game plan for Paddy. He's obviously going to make Berlanga, you know, shiver in his skin. You know, if he's under appreciating the talent Paddy has, and he's forgetting about D's talent that he has in the coaching in the corner as well. Like, what a formidable partnership.
That's obviously Paddy's done it so many times. Like it's not even. It's like if Paddy goes over and knocks him out, it wouldn't even be a surprise. I don't think. Like, you know what I mean? He's done it so many times. So I think it's just another scalp for him. You know what I mean? But obviously a lot bigger name, a bigger platform on the zone. You know what I mean? But it's just another fight for Paddy. You know what I mean?
Do you think it obviously, you know, a win puts him on the verge of a world title? And I think Canelo's announcement's been later on today. Some people are saying he's maybe going to retire. If he was going to retire, I was thinking, can the WBA give Berlanga and mccrory the title for next week? But like I guess I dream of obviously Canelo and things like that. But obviously it's an inspiration for you as well. Do you see where your managers are performing on the top level? You obviously sign under Hammer boxing. Obviously it's, you know, that could be you in the future. You know, I know you're not going to get ahead of yourself too far. You'd always have a limited amateur career and everything else, but there's no reason to suggest that you couldn't be on the verge of big fights there in the future.
That's it. Big Paddy. Obviously he's my manager, but he's a close friend. You know what I mean? And he cares about me. He wants me to do well. And I think the first belt he won was the Celtic title, was it?
BUA Celtic, he beat Steve Collins in the field.
The first belt I won. So I'm planning on winning other belts. You know what I mean? And hopefully with Paddy in my corner as my manager, he can do that for me. You know what I mean? I just do the work in the gym, and obviously it's a new setup for me here, and I think I'll definitely do well, definitely.
Obviously the reason for our interview today, and I know it just hasn't been announced yet, and this is going to go out just after the announcement. You're back since the first time since July. You're obviously appearing on the Conlan box in the breakout show on the 30th of March. The Ulster Hall, obviously you've different memories. Obviously you fought on an MTK show there before, your second pro fight in a couple of weeks' notice. You obviously then were supposed to fight Jordan Latimer. He obviously decided not to turn up to the airport. You then had an exhibition with Dominic on that same card because of the foreign boxing license, because Dom was obviously with the BUA in the south. They obviously couldn't pass a foreign boxer rule, but obviously you're going to have officially your second fight on your record, but your third fight in total with Dominic Donegan. How did the fight with Dominic come about? Obviously Dominic sort of retired September, I think it was November, was it, that card you're supposed to be on? He obviously defeated by a journeyman on that card.
October, 14th October.
And he had retired, and obviously now he's coming back. How's the fight with Dominic come about? Is it the fact that Dominic asked for the fight? Was it you asked for the fight? How's the fight come about?
I don't even know myself. I was surprising for myself.
Did he put a post on Instagram
he put
asking for the fight?
He put a story up on his Instagram saying love to do the fight again, not an exhibition. And then there originally was like going to just get a fight, like a journeyman, just to get me back out with Don, and obviously just get the win with a new team and stuff. And then obviously I seen that, and I said to Don, we love that fight, you know what I mean? It means something, like our history here. And so then Don was going to ring Paddy, and then Paddy said to Don, did they get offered it? Paddy got offered it. So I think Byrne was on the ball, you know what I mean? But then I ended up messaging me, and Dom are sweet, like there's no beef there. I messaged Dom saying 100% mate, like we'd love to get it on, Ulster Hall 30th. And then he was just pal, flipping, let's do it, something like that. But that's it, sealed. And obviously there's a bit of history here. He beat me in the Ulster final 2017. And then the exhibition, and then we've sparred. So every time it's been entertaining. It's always been good rounds between us. So it's going to be a hell of a fight. It's an 8-round fight as well. So it'll be a good one for the crowd as well. And I think they owe it to me, all the people who's bought tickets on me before. Like, instead of going in and fighting just a journeyman and getting a win, like, Dom fancies it and I fancy it. So it's going to be a cracking scrap. And hopefully it'll be on TV and stuff too, you know what I mean? So
for you, obviously, it's a chance at revenge. Obviously, he beat you. Obviously, in the amateurs, obviously, your exhibition obviously classified as a draw.
It was a good scrap as well.
Like, I didn't watch your exhibition with him. Purely for the fact that I know it could potentially happen again. And
well, we were actually meant to fight. So we were squared off after the exhibition. I think I was with Boxing Ireland then, it was.
Yeah, Boxing Ireland.
And I think he was as well. And I think we were meant to fight after that exhibition. And I don't know what happened at the Boxing Ireland.
Boxing Ireland maybe folded.
So then, obviously my goal has always been to get down the weight. I'm sick of saying it, I need to just do it. But it just came at a good time, you know what I mean? And why not flip it, you know what I mean?
I guess it's probably, as you say there, it's your sort of payback, the sort of people that where you let them down, obviously, in the Girdwood, that obviously now, that obviously you're back. And I guess hopefully this interview can obviously help, people repair things, obviously, I guess, when you feel like you've let people down and they've obviously paid money for tickets, and I don't think the tickets were cheap on that night either, too, as well. So,
but
at the end of the day, friends and family and everything else, that's a support network. It built you up. And I'd say in some ways people obviously haven't, and I know you don't like to go back over this, obviously the ticket sale and stuff like that, but people's never seen the ceiling that you can have in selling tickets. You've nearly been limited in tickets you've had in the past, and you'll probably be limited in tickets here again, but people's never really seen the true ticket selling capacity you can have. Like I remember in the Ulster Hall when you fought there before and you sold 150 tickets in a week or something like that.
It's crazy.
It can
I
go
sold over every single fight. Sold over 100 tickets. Every single fight. Except actually one. The COVID, remember the first one back from Boxing Ireland? The COVID, I think we only got 80. Each fighter, because there wasn't allowed to be a certain amount of people in the Devonies. I think that fight was only sold 80. And it sold them all because only was allowed 80. Like every fight I've sold over 100, except that one, you know what I mean? Crazy,
it's like, and I've always, and it's not slating obviously any of your managers and stuff in the past, but I don't think people really appreciate it, obviously. Well, not that they didn't appreciate it, but they didn't understand the full buying part you had, obviously. Cliftonville fan. It kills me to say this, and obviously we're in a really bad streak against you, but obviously the Red Armory follow you everywhere, and they bring in a great atmosphere. Because I didn't watch your fight the last time with Dom, I can't remember the atmosphere you sort of had in that exhibition, but they bring an atmosphere that probably you don't see too many times in sort of Irish boxing, in terms of like they're constantly singing, they'll sing tough songs or anything else, but they're respectful at the same time. That there's none of this.
There's never been any issues.
There's none of this. You call me as a sheepshagger, but they bring an atmosphere and stuff like that as well. So like your fight with Dom, domestic fight, gets you back in the mix, makes you fall in love with obviously the sport again. Not that you never fall in love with it, but the perfect remedy for you. They bounce back obviously after the worst year of your life.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I remember like I was talking to Dan about Journeyman about this fight, and I was like, I know I have to start from the beginning again. Like, it's my fault. Like, I know I have to do this. And then next thing I seen that, like, it sent the story that Dawn put up. I was like, flip, this could be like, me and Dawn could end up fighting here. And then I ended up, all of a sudden, it was 3 hours later, it was confirmed. So, fair play to Dawn too. He's balls of steel, the guy. What is he, 9-6?
And he's 9-5 maybe. 9-5 and then a draw.
He's fought. How many 50-50 fights has he got? Like he's bought, like, fair play to him, you know what I mean?
He seems to be, like, I've seen obviously the last while, and he seems to be that he'll call people out. I've seen him obviously trying to get the Ben McGivern rematch. He was trying to get the rematch obviously with Graham McCormick on September, and then there was talk, it was looking like that was happening again, but it just seems to be that he knows the way to find a fight. He just keep asking for fights and asking and asking and asking. And it's obviously his work. Like his first fight with JB Promotions, your first fight with Paddy McCrory, and he's obviously just straight into domestic straight off.
Jay messaged me as well saying fair play to me because of what I've been through. I could have just took an easy fight, and that's what the plan was, but like it just didn't. It wasn't getting me. You know what I mean? Like I remember talking to Dan about journeyman, and I was like, "Fuck," you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But then as soon as that dawn fight, like it's Dan will tell you and DJ and all, like the training's just been since Monday. I've just been up every morning, flipping, just loving it again. You know what I mean? And fired up for this big time, like, you know what I mean? So would Dawn be, you know what I mean?
You feel like you're probably a boxer again now, obviously, after what you've been through the last few months.
Yeah.
This is sort of your reward, and I know you've been in here religious training, you know. Like, when obviously I first heard the fight was sort of done, I was sort of weird in a way because, you know, I always think of it, what does both fighters sort of have to gain, but obviously I've thought of it since. Obviously there's a lot for Dominic to gain, but obviously listening to your story and stuff as well, there's a lot for you to gain for your own self. You know, it's battling the demons you've sort of had the last few months and everything that's went on. So that's the motivation for you. That's for me, your drive. This
is like a chance to prove people wrong and just to give back to people who support me as well, and obviously to get revenge. Dom's beat me. That Ulster final, like that broke my heart. Like cried my head shit after. I remember it still. It was yesterday, and this is my chance to get the win and level the score. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a cracking scrap, like, you know what I mean? Fair play to him as well.
It's like I know he's a sparred and stuff as well, and obviously he's
so every time I've done rounds with him from that Ulster final till the spar, like I've been shared the ring with 3 times, and every time it's been cracking rounds. You know what I mean? Been cracking rounds.
I know you both asked me after the exhibition, obviously on what I thought of the fight, and, and I know I both said these that I hadn't watched it, but like you were both coming away from the exhibition even going, I won that, Dominic's the same, you know, so there's that competitiveness sort of.
Well, 2 different styles too, you know what I mean? Dom's a big guy, cracking job, you know what I mean? Where I'm like a come forward fighter, where Dom could just sit in the back foot and just use his jab, you know what I mean? And he's a cracking uppercut as well, so it's going to be a cracker. You know what I mean?
It'll obviously mean a lot. Obviously, they level the scores out. I guess the thing is like this is an 8-rounder, so you know I don't know the plans and stuff. I know you're not like to look too far ahead, but it looks to be it's sort of it's putting the winner up for a potential with Irish title fight. You know, I guess you don't want to look too far ahead. You know, and I know probably neither are you or Dom will be thinking that, but in the back of your mind, you're obviously knowing that you're on that verge of an Irish title fight again, and that'll be another hunger and drive to
well,
push through.
Then I'll just see what happens, because I did have a plan with Potter and Dan. We sat and had a coffee before the Dawn fight got agreed, and it was just a fight just to get me back out with Dan, get the weight right, like not having to do a mad weight cut, and then back out in maybe June or sort of May, June, and then lower again down to welterweight, and then obviously a title at welterweight. But listen, things change, that's what Potty says. You can win this, you never know what happens. So I'm just going with the flow, mate. Like that's what I've done all before. Like I've tried to plan things and all, and, you know what I mean? Like I always said about doing welterweight, and then when it came to welterweight, it didn't make it. Obviously there was things going on, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Is that your next sort of challenge in your mind now? Is obviously making welterweight?
Yeah, that obviously is the goal, but listen, I know people will go, she has your chance to then do it, but there's a lot of things going on. But that's the plan with Potty and Dan anyway. But listen, like Potty did say to me, get the win against Dom, things could change, you know what I mean? So I'm just going with the flow, mate. All I'm thinking about at the minute is beating Dom, you know what I mean? And he's obviously thinking the same. It's a cracking fight, it's history here between us, you know what I mean? So a bit cracker for the
dangling another card obviously in front of you, obviously Matcham will be back here in June with obviously Lewis Crocker. Obviously Lewis comes in here and trains and stuff and he's home and stuff as well. Obviously, you know, there's another dangling card as well. You know, you could have a fight in that card, or obviously it could be an Irish title fight in that card. Like things, as I say, can move very quickly. But I'd say it's just getting the next few weeks out of the way. 7 weeks, I think, maybe to the fight. 7-8 weeks to the fight. So obviously I want to thank you for your time. Obviously thanks for being honest, thanks for being open with us. I don't sort of like to pry sort of sometimes too much, but obviously hopefully for people that's had questions and everything else around and things that they can know things. And good to see you back on the right path.
Back loving.
You seem to be enjoying yourself again. Obviously, I was going to ask you obviously during the interview if you got like a burner phone that you can sort of hide from Dan. You know, you can sort of, he doesn't know your number. You can sort of go online without him seeing
as
you?
bad as it is, that's what I need. I need Dan to be torturing me. I just want to, you know what I mean? I'm a cracking trainer and all, but outside of the, you know what I mean? Like I said, he makes me in the morning to make sure I'm up and at it. And like Tuesday and Thursdays, I have to come over here and do an hour session. You know what I mean? It's making sure I'm doing the extra bit. You know what I mean as well.
Have you got a message for Dom, obviously, ahead of the fight? Obviously, not that you need to smack talk or anything else, but is there anything you want to say to Dom, obviously, in the build-up?
Good man for putting that story up, because it's got us the fight. I wasn't even thinking about it. I was just thinking about obviously just getting back out, but I'm glad Dom put that story up, because now we're both fighting each other and it's a cracking fight. It's an 8-rounder. And one that the crowd, my crowd and his crowd, is going to be up for, so it's going to be a cracker.
And I'm sure obviously you want to pass on your thanks to Conlan Boxing as
Oh,
well for giving you the opportunity.
Paddy and Jamie obviously, and Mick, a great opportunity. Like, I thought after what I've been through, the obviously missing weight now, I thought I had to just go back to the beginning again and do everything. Where now look, I'm on Ulster Hall card, Conlan show, fighting an 8-round fight against Dunlop, who's 8 years history here, so it's going to be massive, you know what I mean?
Well, listen, thanks very much for your time as always. Obviously enjoy your next couple of weeks in camp.
Yep.
Obviously hopefully Clifton will keep doing the business for you. Obviously I know they're Irish Cup obviously the same day as the fight.
Well, the quarterfinals first, Portadown, away to Portadown, then the semi-final weekend is the 30th of March apparently, so hopefully it doesn't get changed there Friday night and it's still on the Saturday, and then all the boys get the win in the final and then over to the fight.
Oh, they'll all be well oiled up by the time it comes to your fight then.
Oh boy, second like that.
Well listen, thanks very much for your time as always, and we'll catch up with you in fight week.
Good man, Morty.